Country Day High School and had a lot of success there, and Sam was able to do some pretty cool things. So don't be surprised, guys. The kid can play. I expect him to come out and maybe hit a jumper or something.
Abdul Adu and Hayden Koval round out the seniors in the starting lineup for Bearcats. The touchdown low for Koval. His hook shot is short. So one and done possession for Cincinnati on their first try.
That's exactly what Cincinnati needs to do all game long. They have the depth on the interior over USF. It's a big part of when they're successful.
There's Javon Green, the transfer from George Mason. Floater in the lane is short. Koval off his hands into Abdu's hands, and Koval rips it away. For USF, it's Green, Walker, Hines, Murphy, and Chiwa, the starters for the Bulls. DeJulius, Davenport, Martin, Adu, and Koval, the five for Cincinnati.
Let's see here, DeJulius has to put his foot on the gas early. You know, against USF, a lot of people are starting to read his punt, fake, and pull-up. You know, one thing DeJulius can do is create his own shot. As he get here, let's see if he can get Boogie early.
Step back three is too strong, and Green skies for the rebound. Martin tries to play some defense on Caleb Murphy and draws the foul instead. Well, we knew it was going to be a quick sub for the seniors today, and Sam Martin and Hayden Koval will both check out in favor of the usual starters, Mike Adams-Woods and John Newman.
No, it's always good to get your seniors some playing time. Definitely guys like Sam Martin, man. He's been around the program. I'm not joking. I think he's played under 3 different coaches.
He has.
In his 5 years. So, you know, he bleeds black and red like a Bearcat.
Well, Martin picks up the foul and takes a seat. USF gets into its offense, their second possession. Back to Green on the dribble handoff. Now Hines kicks it to the corner. Jab step for Walker, the transfer from Tennessee. A nice dump off. Chiwa misses it first, collects it, and lays it in. He has been fantastic over the last couple of games for USF, averaging nearly 12 points over his last 8.
And he is. He's coming off a double-double at ECU. Big reason on why USF hung around in that game, had 18 and 10. And like I said, he gives USF a dynamic person on the interior.
Wes Miller for Cincinnati in his first year for the Bearcats. He is tied for 10th among first-year head coaches with 17 wins this season. Arizona's Tommy Lloyd has 24. One of his Carolina mates, Hubert Davis, has 19 with the Tar Heels this season. Wes Miller, a Carolina graduate in 2007.
Coach Miller learning a lot about this American Conference and how tough it can be.
Davenport straightaway 3 is off the mark. Green with another rebound.
See if USF can continue to go to Chiwa. He's been a big factor of why they've been in some close games here the last 6 games.
Walker misses out of Adu's hands and into Newman's hands. Cincinnati wants to run a little bit more. Newman a chance to do so here. Off the bump, can't lay it in. Davenport collects it. He misses around the rim.
No, Cincinnati at their best. You know, turns defense in the offense right away. They're able to get early and quick shots.
Murphy again fouled in transition. The Bulls are led by Brian Gregory. He was just extended on his contract back in January through the 25-26 season. So a little bit of job security for Brian Gregory. In his 5th year with the Bulls, a 64-86 overall record in his 5 years at the helm.
Been a bit of a slower start here on the offensive end for both teams. Let's see if Murphy can get going here, try to get himself going early. As long as he stays aggressive, USF, they're in need of a win. Been in some really close ones.
It's over, nothing more comes of it. USF basketball. Tipped out of bounds off of Adams-Woods, and we'll get another inbound.
And the thing about Cincinnati over these last 2 games isn't necessarily offense. It's a lot of defensive mishaps. Giving up 70, 80 points against teams. It's going to be always hard to win here. Let's see if they can bond together, continue to focus on the defensive end here, and get some stops and turn that defense in the offense, which is what they do best.
Kick to the corner. Green gives it up. Hines steps into a 3. At the shot clock, he nails it.
Big time dagger there by Hines.
He had 12 the last time these 2 teams played. Transfer from Denver in the offseason.
You know, USF feels that they have a chance. This game was a pretty good game at USF the first time. Davenport had a terrific game, and DeJulius as well.
Davenport misses this three, and Chiwa has a rebound. I mentioned his double-double last time out, 18 and 10. Both are career highs for Chiwa. Nifty moves from Murphy, pulls up in the lane. A one-handed shot is off the rim and out. Aguama has the board.
I think Murphy might have put a little move on himself there. Kind of got stuck in the air, but that was a nice crossover there by Murphy.
All kinds of handles there. Lid on the basket for Cincinnati. We're 4 minutes in, and the Bearcats still without a point.
You know, the D&D connection, Davenport and DeJulius has to continue to be aggressive and put some points up on the board here early for Cincinnati.
DeJulius comes off Aguama's screen. He puts the moves on Chiwa, step back, and the lid stays on. Aguama tries to tip it. It broke up Cincinnati's 11-game winning streak against USF. Odi Aguama at the line for Cincinnati, a chance to give the Bearcats their first points. And he does just that. Aguama, the transfer from Wake Forest in the offseason. Had a nice game over the weekend against Temple, 11 and 5 against the Owls. You mentioned, Kevin, he's really come along as this season has progressed.
He has, and the best thing about him is a ton of athleticism there in the interior for this Bearcats team, which is somewhat what they lack here and there. He's starting to find his offensive rhythm. He can be very effective.
USF has no trouble with the Cincinnati press. Green sets the offense up for the Bulls.
See if USF can continue to figure out an offensive rhythm as well here. Chua's been a go-to guy here.
He's doubled on the block, breaks through the double, and is fouled on his way up.
You know, I'll say one thing, TV doesn't do him any justice. He looks like he'd go play a defensive end in the NFL right now.
How do you like 7 foot 280 coming at you, Odi Aguama?
Man, and that was pretty good defense there. You think about Chua, he was able to get his shoulder squared up and put it right into Aguama for the ref to have to call that foul here.
Just 56% at the line, he misses the first. Mentioned earlier in the game, he's really starting to come along for Brian Gregory. One thing they want to see him do now, though, is start to kick it out a little more. The defense is starting to respect him on the block. Now find those opportunities to kick it out to the shooters.
And that's the best way to play. You coach know, inside-out basketball, always get you high percentage shots. Chua's starting to find that rhythm down there. He has to continue to learn how to make the right decision. But, you know, to be able to have a big guy like that to suck people in and control the paint is vital to a great team.
Chiwa's a transfer from Texas Tech. 7 foot 280. He's guarding Aguama down on the block right now.
USF is doing a really good job with the defensive scheme here, switching a lot, trying to keep guys in front of them to make Cincinnati settle.
Newman's three is off the mark. Aguama hits the offensive glass. Too strong on his follow. Bounced around, nearly went in, and Walker comes away with it. Hines in transition all the way under the basket. Good defense from Aguama. And back Cincinnati's way. Excuse me, USF maintains possession.
USF is going to continue to try to find something early in the shot clock. It's what they do best. You know, they also one of those teams that can cause a lot of turnovers and play in transition very well. With Caleb Murphy leading the break, coming at you 100 miles per hour is pretty hard to guard.
Chiwa's hook shot is off the mark. Aguama's been all over the glass, both offensive and defensive.
Yes, he's doing a really good job of maintaining Chua, who's a huge force down there.
Davenport has missed his first couple threes, so is Newman. Bearcats still with just 2 points, both on Odi Aguama's free throws. Saunders speeds through the lane, couple spins, high arcing shot is off. Tipped out of bounds off of Chiwa down low and will stay at this end.
Say the least, both teams look a little bit out of sync offensively. But it's like that sometimes, you know, sometimes you got to grind these games out. It's looking like whoever can bring a little bit more energy, cause some turnovers to get some easy points up on the board might be the team that can spread this gap out.
Mason Madsen is in for Cincinnati. Byron Matos is into the game for USF. When you're in an offensive funk, Kevin, what does it take to get out of it?
You know, I always say focus on defense. You know, try to get you an easy steal, get you some second chance points, those intangibles.
It's a half-court set for Cincinnati here. Davenport misses another three. He's cold to start, but everyone for Cincinnati is a bit off right now. Green hops through the lane, can't bank it in. Matos has it off of his hands, and he's called for the foul.
Cincinnati's doing a really good job making USF take tough shots in transition. It was a great drive by Green there. I don't know why he altered it with the left hand. Odie Obama's also doing a really great job for Cincinnati on the glass.
You talked earlier about Chiwa and how he could play defensive end. How about Matos on a pitching mound? He was one of the best pitching prospects in the Dominican Republic. He was in conversation with Wander Franco, who just signed a big contract extension with the Tampa Bay Rays. He had a 90s fastball, but he said baseball was too boring. He wanted to play basketball instead.
I will have to totally agree with Mr. Matos there. You used to playing at this speed, that baseball sitting in the sun all day doesn't seem too interesting.
Madsen for three, yes! First field goal for Cincinnati.
Dagger by Mason Madsen, doing what he does best and exactly what the fans needed and what the Cincinnati team needed early. Somebody to come off the bench, provide some energy. Madsen's able to strike one from deep.
Walker backs his way down and connects.
That's something I call real silky smooth there.
Walker, the transfer from Tennessee, didn't play at all with the Volunteers. Just pulled off a big win today against Auburn. DeJulius connects on a nice pass and lays it in. Good feed from Saunders.
And Anthony, you ask, sometimes when you're struggling, how do you get the score? You execute offense and get easy layups.
Goaltending called at the other end. Cincinnati tried to hustle back in transition, but not quick enough.
Mato's not looking like a pitcher there. He's looking like a really good Division I basketball player, going up and get that over the defender and to be able to finish there. You never really hear too many baseball guys transitioning to basketball.
No.
That's pretty interesting.
I was a baseball guy myself, and I would not want 6'9", 260 throwing to me from 60 feet, 6 inches away. I can tell you that much. Julius dumps it off. Adu is fouled, and he'll have a couple at the line.
Great execution there and a great find by DeJulius, which I like to call the vet. He always makes the right play there.
DeJulius elected not to be honored today on Senior Day pregame celebrations here in Fifth Third Arena. He said he's not sure what his future holds, whether he's going to play another season or not. The COVID eligibility year that all NCAA athletes were given. Adu was honored, and he rims out on his first free throw. Adu spent his first 4 years at Mississippi State. He's second among active players in career blocks with 291.
Those out there, I know when you're 6'11", 255, you think, hey, he should block shots, but it's an art and a skill to it, and Adu is one of the best I've seen to be able to read guys and block shots constantly for this team. And it's been a great value to this Bearcats team this year.
Wes Miller talked a lot about that. A couple of one-and-done type transfers with Adu, only 1 year of eligibility left, and Hayden Koval with just one as well. Saunders picks up a steal here against Trey Moss, and Cincinnati sets up its offense. Saunders drives, dumps it off inside. Adu's floater is way off. Koval cleans it up, back out to Madsen for three.
And that's a great shot there by Madsen, just rammed in and out. Adu has to finish that. It was a great find there by Saunders on his drive. I know if Adu could get that back, and, that's what you call drill work. I know he shoots 100 of those throughout the week.
Hines puts it on the floor, drives past Koval, skips it to the corner for a three. Way off from Green, into the hands of Boggs and back out. Long three, beats the buzzer, but off the mark, out of the hands of Moss.
Both teams got to settle down here and figure out some shots from the perimeter. It's a lot of scud missiles early from both teams here. Let's see if someone can catch some fire from the three-point line and turn this into some fun offense here.
It's been like walking through mud here in the early going. Neither team has much traction. Saunders, corner three, too strong again.
They're walking through mud, it's pulling them down like quicksand.
It's still only a 3-point game. USF 10-7, excuse me, but neither team has much going offensively right now, and Mike Saunders calms things down a bit.
This right here is where Cincinnati can execute, try to get a nice three ball and tie this game up and get some energy, get the crowd on their side here, senior night, try to catch a rhythm.
Matos fouls DeJulius, a nice first half, and it is just 10-7. Cincinnati with another half-court set. They haven't been able to get in transition as much as they maybe would like. DeJulius with an up fake. Better defense, though, from Smith. Shot clock runs out on the Bearcats, and that's just been the kind of night so far. Some really good defense again from the Bulls.
Yeah, it's just one of those nights. But you got to continue to focus on defense. You know, as a player, I've been in these spots where we seem so out of sync. But you got to keep sticking with it defensively. Try to get yourself some transition points, knock in some good open threes, and then get going. But you allow Caleb Murphy to come off screens like that, and you'll find yourself digging out of a deep hole.
His first bucket of the night. Koval inside. His hook shot goes.
Very textbook there by Koval, excuse me.
We were talking earlier about a couple of one-and-done transfer seniors that got honored here on Senior Day, Adu and Koval for Cincinnati. Wes Miller said we got lucky because those are two very unselfish guys. Usually a one-and-done player, it's all about them, but they were both all about the team. Murphy's starting to heat up a little bit. He's made his last 2 shots.
See his feet starting to get on fire, his toes getting on fire. He's not all the way there yet, but he's starting to find that rhythm and groove.
Second chance for the Bearcats. DeJulius goes to work, kicks it. Adams Woods for 3. Way too strong. Koval battles for the rebound and gets it. No reset on the shot clock. It never hit the rim.
Cincinnati might be going through the senior night woes where, you know, you kind of adjust that starting lineup, and now guys got to figure out how to get that rhythm going. But DeJulius being aggressive, doing what the vet does.
Good hard drive, and Sorrell Smith picks up the foul.
Caleb Murphy starting to get hot here for USF. Another guy that they need to chip in if they want to come out successful today is Chaplin, number 24. Been quiet here, but back in the game here. Also another guy averaging about 11 points, shooting 50% from the field.
DeJulius just knocked down that first free throw. He only has 3 points in the early going for Cincinnati after 24 the first time these two teams played. He scored in double figures 11 games in a row now. A season high 25 against Houston a couple weeks ago. And he'll take a seat after making both free throws. Madsen is back in for the Bearcats. Micah Adams-Woods provides a little bit of backcourt pressure.
Caleb Murphy gets extremely low. For him to be about 6'5", he gets incredibly low on his dribbles.
Misses inside. Aguama has another rebound.
Cincinnati's at its finest here. Get a defensive stop, get something early in transition.
Davenport at 2. He misses that one as well. He just is ice cold right now in the early going.
A lot of tough shots here. Cincinnati has to figure out a way to get easier shot. A couple plays ago, you see Koval get the ball on the inside, which is where they got the best depth in size over USF here. They got to try to get this ball in the paint.
Madsen leaks out and lays it in. There's the transition offense Cincinnati's looking for.
Those work as well. Quick, easy leak outs. Get the fans on your side here. Try to get some energy here going on in fifth third.
Here's Chaplin. He's missed the last handful of games injured, but getting some limited minutes today. Looks pretty good there, but doesn't have the finish in him. Aguama juggles it and lays it off to Adams-Woods.
Right here where Cincinnati can turn the leaf here. Get a great stop.
Adams-Woods gives the Bearcats the lead.
Another dagger there. It's exactly what the fans needed in here in fifth third. See some threes fall, get this team some energy going. Let's see if Cincinnati can make a run here.
Well, Murphy made a couple in a row, but the offense has gone stagnant over the last couple possessions. Tries the dribble.
Could have packed it up in my suitcase and put it right up in Cincinnati, I promise.
Both of these teams, speaking of weather, they're looking to heat up a little bit from inside fifth third arena. The Bearcats have all of a sudden come alive a little bit offensively, but that will stunt any progress they made. An offensive foul against Mike Saunders setting the screen.
Similar action just happened here for USF. Same thing just happened. You got to plant those feet before you get that dribble handoff right away. It's a great steal by Chaplin.
Right back to USF. They're back down 2.
They haven't had anybody pretty much heat up outside of Caleb and Chua here. Let's see if they can get some other guys going. Chaplin, like I said, is another guy that can provide scoring for this team as well.
Here's Walker. Into Chua. He bounces it out to Chaplin. Walker puts the moves on Davenport. Shoots over him and misses. And Adu has the rebound. Cincinnati runs the floor, but USF does a nice job of getting back.
See if they can get Julius going here.
Long skip to Madsen, tries another triple. Yes!
That is just a great pass there by Julius. And another triple there by Madsen, doing what he does best. Guns fully loaded. Not scared to shoot, and he banged one down for Cincinnati here.
Madsen was scoreless against UCF earlier this week, and he has 2 threes in the early going for 8 points. Out of bounds, stays at this end, looking for that entry feed to Chua again.
The dude doing a really good job of interior defense there, not letting Chua get it position there. You know, those are the small things that don't count in the playbook, you know, deflections, but it caused a lot of problems for teams.
Back out to Green, he fights through inside, tough layup, doesn't roll in. Long rebound to Davenport. Green is not afraid to take on the trees down there. Neither is Davenport, but he's stripped. Out of bounds, Cincinnati basketball. It's been a tough go for Jeremiah Davenport in the early going, still scoreless for Cincinnati. He is second in the conference in threes made, 4th in three-point percentage. Tries to go inside and just some good defense.
It's always tough, man. You know, they got that his name circled on the scout report. Second in threes in the conference, and also a very vital part to this Bearcats success this year. If I'm USF, that's one guy I do not want to get hot today.
Walker called for the foul. Brian Gregory looks on. The foul was starting to add up a little bit for USF. That's the 7th, and David DeJulius is at the line. Early on, it was Wes Miller and his team that was in foul trouble. A couple of quick ones. Now it's Brian Gregory in the USF squad that has put Cincinnati at the free throw line. 1-1, DeJulius rims out, but Adu circles around for the rebound. DeJulius is off the mark on his second try. Bodies go tumbling under the basket. Moss races forward. Green fakes it, kicks it, Chaplin for 3.
A lot of stub missiles there going for USF here. See if guys can settle in. It's been a decent first half for USF. I think coming into it, this is the type of half they wanted it to be. Staying right in tune with Cincinnati, making this game very rugged, and then being able to get out and play in transition.
Chaplin didn't think he had that much space, and he misses a wide open layup. Well, it's just been that kind of night. And a foul on the Bulls puts Cincinnati back at the free throw line. But my goodness, you don't get much more open than that.
You do not. Not at this level. You know, if Chaplin could have bought that one back, he would have spent every penny for it.
And then a frustration foul at the end of it. Goes against Hines.
When you're trying to win on the road, though, those are the plays you got to be able to complete.
Julius rolls in the front end of the 1-and-1 this time. All these USF misses, and it's hard to believe that Cincinnati is only up by 6. They've had their own struggles at the offensive end.
Yes, the Bearcats are staying consistent in what they do. Throughout the struggles, you continue to focus on defense. They keep getting stop after stop. A couple easy layups, a couple threes here by Madsen. Open up the ball game a little bit.
Now, Wes Miller said after the loss against USF earlier this week, the 5th in 7 games for Cincinnati, he said, we're frustrated as a staff. I'm frustrated. The players are frustrated. That was his buzzword after the game, was frustration. But he says it's certainly not from a lack of effort. We're trying our butts off. But right now we're just in one of those phases, and sometimes you got to work through these to come out the other end. Finally, USF gets something to go. DJ Patrick for three.
Big time three there by DJ Patrick. And that's what this USF team needs right here, right now. We're getting here late in this first half. Want to continue to keep this thing close. But like you said earlier, Anthony, about Coach Miller and the Bearcats, it's that time. It's that war time. That's why I got my suit on today, Army fatigue. Because this is where teams get, things get tough. You get a little tired, a little fatigue. Everybody wants to win. You got to figure out how to grind out wins now.
Tough layup inside for Newman, his first bucket of the evening. Green takes it inside, back out to Hines. Chiwa crashes the offensive glass, but has it knocked out of his hands. And
basketball. You get your ups and downs on the offensive end, but the best teams never let it define winning. As I said before, both teams need a win. They need that motivation and that momentum as they get here to close this season out and get ready for a conference tournament.
That's a nice little runner there from Trey Moss. And a better dump down at the other end to Julius to Newman for two.
It was right back isn't cheating, as they always say. It's great execution by Cincinnati. Great finish by Newman here. See if Cincinnati continue to get stops here as we get late in this first half. Try to get up to 10 points.
Chiwa carves out space down low, and he's fouled. That is a load to deal with.
It is. It is. That's the size of an NFL defensive end there. And Obama's doing the best he is. The one thing about Chiwa is continue to draw that contact with his shoulders.
It's a difference of 3 inches and 55 pounds between the two. Chiwa's an interesting player. Transfer from Texas Tech. Played 3 years of prep basketball in Italy after moving from Cameroon. Those are your leading scorers. Madsen has 8 on a couple of threes. Murphy, he was hot early, but has since cooled down.
That's been the biggest thing from Cincinnati. I think that's why they have to lead. Bench points 15-4, which is a big reason on why they've been successful in games this year. And it's showing tonight. Multiple guys been able to come off the bench and contribute.
Saunders pedal to the metal, everything but the finish. Hines races back the other way. Euro step past Davenport and lays it in with the left. What a move by Hines.
That's just nice there, Hines. Way to read that charge. Step right around him with a Euro step. Tough finish there.
First you see me, then you don't.
Like flash.
Davenport still scoreless. Tries to get going here and still off the mark.
Shooters keep shooting. And as we all know, the Bearcats need him to strike in a couple. They always play better when Jeremiah Davenport is striking from downtown. So continue to be aggressive. He'll find his way.
Trey Moss has been a nice piece off the bench for Brian Gregory and USF tonight. Another runner in the lane. And USF back within 1.
I tell you, USF has elite speed on the perimeter. When it comes to getting to that rim and first steps, they're one of the quickest teams I've seen all year.
Newman tries a 3 and hits the 3.
It's always good when your defensive guys knocking down shots for you. And that's the best thing about this team depth. You never know which guy is willing to step up and make a shot.
Heat check from Moss, and he banks it in. He's feeling it right now, gets a little help from the window.
Moss is doing a really good job here.
Not a good shot there from Adams Woods, way off the mark. Chiwa has it.
Let's see here if Moss can keep it going here.
He's made the last couple buckets for USF. Hand off to Green. Hines, long 2. Oval, a strong rebound inside.
Great execution by USF. Short 15-foot shot by Hines, capable of making it. See if they can continue to get a stop here. Transition back for another bucket.
About a minute to go, first half. Cincinnati by 2. Koval, a 3. Newman pushed the rest of the half with those 2 fouls. Madsen is in. Patrick at the line. He misses the front end of the 1-and-1.
See if the Bearcats can end this half on a strong note.
Long skip to Adams Woods, corner 3. Patrick skies for the rebound. Into the hands of Moss, who's really been the only weapon offensively over the last 2 or 3 minutes for USF.
Let's see if he can continue to do something. Get some more points, try to tie this thing up at half here.
Good hands from Adu, knocks it away from Chiwa. 8 to shoot for USF. Moss rises. Tried the bank again, but off the mark. Davenport knocked out of his hand Thursday, and they'll finish out the regular season against Temple a week from tomorrow. Final shot for Cincinnati, under 10 to go first half. Bearcats by 2. Julius loses it on the crossover. Adams Woods is there, has to fire. Good
energy from both teams on both ends. I think that the hungrier dog is going to get the bone in his game here. USF, like we said, lost 6 in a row. Cats has lost 2 in a row. Both teams looking for some momentum going into conference play. This is the hungrier dog gets the bone.
Well, they must not like the flavor of the bone, Kevin. USF turns it over on the first possession.
That turnover, they might not even want the bone. It's a rough one for USF. Those are the starts you just don't want to have. You know, it deflates your energy when you're already in a tough dog fight here. See if Cincinnati can execute and get some early points up on this board.
Around the horn to Adams Woods. Davenport scored nothing in that first half for Cincinnati. Rises over Hines, and he's fouled in the process.
That's a tough foul there by Hines. Davenport had nowhere to go. He overextended and got him on the foul there, but great job by Davenport being able to sell it at the end on the pull-up.
High arcing shot. Hines couldn't believe that he was called for the foul. But a chance for the first points of the night for the team's leading scorer, or second leading scorer, I beg your pardon, Jeremiah Davenport.
We all know as a shooter, sometimes you just need that one free throw. Watch that ball go through that net. Next thing you know, all of a sudden, it opens up 2 feet wider than what it looked before. And everything gets to fall, and that might be where Davenport needs to be here.
1 of 2 at the line. Newman cleans up his miss and puts it in. Newman has been the hot hand tonight for Cincinnati, now with 9.
Has been. Doing all the intangibles. Being able to follow up, second chance points are always vital when you're struggling from the field.
Green splits the double and fouled.
Fouls on the Bearcats, number 24, Jeremiah Davenport, his first team's personal foul.
Davenport called for that foul.
USF started Chaplin his second half here. Look to get him going. He's another one of those guys that normally puts points up on the board for this team here.
Turnover by Cincinnati. DeJulius leaks out, and he's stuffed from behind by Murphy.
That is just pure athleticism there by Murphy, and another turnover. 3 turnovers on 3 possessions here for USF.
DeJulius picks the pocket, but just better defense from Caleb Murphy.
It's nothing like those chase down blocks. I love them. And there was a guy that I played with here at Cincinnati, Justin Jackson. He lived to run down and block people's shots. It was amazing.
Adu forces a pass inside. Adams Woods comes away with it and lays it in.
Cincinnati's continue to execute on all those dirty plays, man. 50-50 balls and finishing through contact on those second chance points.
Boy, what a tough layup from Hines at the other end.
It is. That was a quick bucket there by USF. Trying to keep this lead at a minimum here.
Cincinnati by 5, early moments of the second half. Davenport gets his first field goal.
Great offense there by the Bearcats. They got to continue to focus on defense. As we all know, this team had no problem scoring throughout the year, but on the defensive end, giving up 70 points, always going to be tough to beat guys.
Green skips it to Hines in the corner, 10 to shoot for the Bulls. Drives baseline, he's doubled. Chiwa, the floater is good.
It's nice basketball, Hines and Chiwa there.
Still showing this late in the season despite the poor record.
Yeah, that's just a credit to these student athletes, man, playing with pride, playing for the name on the front and the back of the jersey. You always got to understand that, you know, to be able to have the opportunity to play at this level is a blessing.
Feed to Aguama, he's stripped. Stays at this end. Aguama's in and Madsen are in. Newman, of course, is out, as well as Adu for Cincinnati.
We all know Madsen provided some really good three-point shooting here in the first half. Let's see if he can hit a few more bombs here.
Newman is back on the bench for Cincinnati. A good sign there for the Bearcats. 8 to shoot. DeJulius puts the moves on Chiwa. Kicks it to Madsen and a travel first. Julius just trying to do a bit too much. Into the hands of Murphy. Played with some foul trouble in that first half. Inside to Hines. Backs down on Madsen. Shoots over him. Leaves it short.
It's great interior defense by Madsen there. Waiting out the foul. And tough Hines to shoot a tough floater over top of him. See if the Bearcats can come down and execute. See if Davenport can get hot. It's been a struggle here. Might be an over the back call.
And off his foot.
It's one of those days. You got to continue to keep his head up, focus on the defensive end. Don't allow the missed shots to stop you from wanting to win this game here. Cincinnati needs to win this game. This is a gettable game at home, senior night. Momentum going into the conference tournament here.
Inside to Chiwa, one-on-one with Aguama. Big time size advantage, and another foul called against the Wake Forest transfer. That's number 3.
It's just such a tough call. He does a really good job of creating that contact. I know Aguama's straight up, but once you lean into a guy, remember, back when I played, they always teach our bigs, you know, go through the contact. It forces the ref to have to call a tough one instead of fading away. Chua does a really good job of that.
The game is starting to slow down a little bit for Russell Chiwa. Mentioned earlier, he's from Cameroon. He was born and raised there, played basketball in Italy after moving from Cameroon. He speaks 4 languages: English, French, Italian, and Cameroonian.
Quadlingua? Is that a thing?
4.
4. Quadlingua.
Tie up under the basket. And USF showing a lot of fight right now.
They are, you know, don't let this record tell the tale about this team and this program. They got some guys, they're trying to get this thing headed in the right direction. They're gonna play with pride. They know coming into Cincinnati is a tough place to play. They don't want to get embarrassed. These guys have pride, and also, you know, it's always fun to be an away team to spoil someone's senior night.
Do you speak any other languages, Kevin?
I do not.
Just English and basketball.
Yep, English and basketball.
This will be a fun matchup down low. Adu back in for Cincinnati to match up against Chiwa. Julius shoots instead, leaves it short. Chiwa had it for a moment. Hines comes away from the scrum with it. Trailer to Chaplin. Cincinnati gets back defensively. Green throws it to the U.S. As you mentioned to Kevin, a glue guy. Does a little of this, a little of that. Jack of all trades, master of none, if you will.
Yep, and that's what this team needs. They got some guys that can do some specialty things, but that glue guy, the guy that does all the dirty work, kind of gets you those wins.
Even an open 3, Davenport can't hit it tonight. Just one of those days.
Bearcats still up 4 here. We got to continue to focus on the defensive end. It's one of those grind-out games. Can't give it up on both ends.
Green puts it on the floor. He's had some big moments in his 1 year at USF, a number of game-winning shots, a couple of go-ahead late shots. Murphy nearly stumbles, back out to Green. Long 3, yes! That's from Mason for Javon Green.
That's a deep ball there. That was a big shot there. That's exactly what USF needed. They've had about 4 turnovers here in the second half. It's slowing down our offensive groove, but Green had the green light there and was able to find the red dot.
Saunders, baseline drive. He steps on the end line. Right after that green three, Cincinnati turns it over, doesn't have the answer.
Big time three there by Green and late on that shot clock. It's exactly what USF needed here to calm themselves down on offense. For them to have 4 turnovers here in the second half to be in this thing is a blessing.
Those were just the first points for Green tonight. He goes down right in front of the USF bench, and he is a little bit gimpy. Chaplin puts the moves on, and Adu swats it out of there.
Adu, keep that out of here. Don't bring that in my house. Doing exactly what he does.
Davenport, strong drive, and a block called against USF.
You're struggling here. You got to get yourself to that free throw line, continue to find that rhythm. That way, late game, you'll be ready to knock in some shots here. It's a great drive by Davenport.
Well, I asked Wes Miller before today's game about the inside versus outside play. Cincinnati has made a bunch of threes this season, but they've taken a bunch of threes. I asked if that's his philosophy. He said, look, I always want to try to go inside, but it just hasn't been our game this season. Our three-point shooters have been a bit better than our post players in terms of execution, but he did say there are ways to get inside in transition, get layups that way, but we always want to be a team that attacks the basket, goes to the rim. Davenport not making them from outside today, but he's at least trying to go inside.
You know, one thing Coach Miller understands is, when you're able to play inside out like that, and if you got the abilities to throw it in the post, to make the defense collapse, you always get high percentage shots. Whether it's your bigs at the rim, your shooters being able to take step-in wide open threes, the percentages go up. I think this team has to continue to improve. That'll be one area that Coach Miller will improve here for next year.
The big boys go to work down low. Koval comes over to help out and swats it away. Adams Woods leaks out over the shot blocking Murphy and lays it in.
It's a big time finish there by Adam Woods.
Murphy was ready to swat that into the second row.
He was.
Newman picks the pocket of Patrick, and a foul called as he tried to race the other way.
And that right there is where Coach wished Chua could start dishing it off, but Adam Woods in transition with a nice bucket right over Murphy there. And as we all know, Newman, we just spoke with him, he does the intangibles, get a steal, continue to give this team some energy on that defensive end.
It wasn't a free path foul, so a normal inbounds pass for Cincinnati. Skip to Newman, good hops to keep it in. Saunders hesitation, peels back out, 15 to shoot for the Bearcats. Julius comes off the Adu screen. Into the corner, Koval triple. Patrick the board.
USF right here in this game here, they need a good one.
Murphy, hard-nosed drive off the window. Chiwa collects it, and it doesn't have the finish.
Had a chance there, couldn't capitalize there. Let's see if the Bearcats can strike one again. Try to break this league out.
Still just 5, the deficit for USF. Julius, good pump fake. Gets his defender in the air and knocks down the long 2.
The vet with the super vet move, textbook pull up. I like it, real nice to Julius.
Coming off a USF timeout, they're down by 7. What do they need to do on the offensive end here to get something going?
USF is not out of this thing.
Green, short from the corner. And foul called under the basket. Goes Cincinnati's way. Good box out from Hayden Koval. Goes against Matos. Bearcats by 7, approaching the 12-minute mark, second half. Alongside Kevin Johnson, I'm Anthony Mazzini. Senior day for the Bearcats, the final regular season home game for UC. basketball on the road before the American Athletic Conference tournament.
USF is doing a really good job of taking Cincinnati out of their offense, and that's contributor why this game has been a little bit rugged, which is working out in USF favor.
1 second on the shot clock. Newman fires and halfway down and out. We've talked a lot about the sluggish offenses, maybe not enough about the good defenses for these two teams. USF second in opposing scoring, Cincinnati third in the American this season. So two very good defenses. Walker tries a three and hits.
That's exactly what USF needed. Put themselves right back into this. They're doing a really good job on the defensive end. They got to continue to figure out that offensive rhythm. Find guys knocking in shots, continue to dribble penetrate, and also find their bigs on the interior.
Might be a different year if Walker could stay healthy all season. Koval is met at the rim.
The best teams is all about consistency, and you know, this team has learned that, you know, the season's very long and you have to be consistent in what you do. And they're trying to finish up with Houston and SMU. Those are the games you go into, and you got nothing to lose. Right? And these teams are also projected to be in the tournament, but to see where you at and to see your progression of the year at the end, that'll be the best test that you can do to complete the season.
Well, it's the parity of college basketball too, right? Because Cincinnati has struggled against UCF and Temple this season. The only two wins for the Bulls are against USF and against Temple. Cincinnati has beaten SMU, now the #2 team in the conference, and they blew them out by a wide margin here in Fifth Third Arena. So that's college basketball for you.
That is college basketball, and also shows, you know, how good this Bearcats team can be. It's just all about consistency. That'll be fun. They got two really good road games. It'll be a great test for them moving forward.
8 to shoot for the Bulls. Step back through the legs. Walker, too strong. Davenport the rebound.
Only down 5 here. They got to continue to be solid on defense here. See if the Bearcats can stretch this lead. I think Davenport is starting to get anxious to hit one. I feel one coming for him here soon.
Lob up top. Baguama nearly flushed it down. He's fouled. Goes against Matos, and that's number 4 on the big fella.
It's almost like Oguama had a jetpack on his back the way he went up and tried to get that. I like that. It was a nice pass there by Julius. Or Adam Woods, excuse me.
Came out of nowhere, really.
He did. I like the attempt.
Oguama goes to the line. He's had a tough night of work, having to guard Russell Chiwa all night, or Byron Matos, whoever's in there. Both are a couple of loads down low, and you'll trade one for the other. With the 4 fouls, Matos goes out, Chiwa comes in. Madsen in for Cincinnati to replace Newman. Wouldn't be surprised if Oguama needs an ice bath after tonight's game.
Man, I know he's had a load, like you said, all night.
Long 2 for Patrick is strong. Chiwa has the rebound, keeps it alive for USF. But he throws it to a tumbling teammate on the sideline. That's Sorrell Smith, who went down right in front of his coach. And another Bulls turnover.
Turnovers has been a struggle here for this Bulls team in the second half. Did a really good job in the first half getting shots up constantly. But turnover after turnover, 5 this half. It's a big reason on why they still down 5. So if the Bearcats can execute their offense here.
That up fake has been lethal for DeJulius.
It has all year.
Step back from Madsen. Foot was on the line, leaves it short. Long rebound out to Sorrell Smith Jr. Races up against Madsen, but better defense from the sophomore.
Cincinnati has to do a better job of getting some easier offense. It's a very tough shot there by Madsen. Great way to hustle back on defense to get a stop, and that's what winning's all about.
Chiwa against Adu. It's about 500 pounds going against each other right there. Feed down low inside of the Cameroonian again. Backs his way down and lays it in.
NFL defensive line as he does the too little as he runs back on defense there. It's a great move by Chiwa there. And that's exactly what this U.S. team needs. Be able to score on the interior to open up some perimeter shooting for him. Chiwa's the way to go.
Davenport, you said he's getting anxious, puts matters in his own hands. He slips and loses it. Out to Murphy, 2-on-2 the other way. Murphy takes it himself, rolls off the rim. Out to Sorrell Smith.
This USF team is playing hard.
Walker with the triple.
Big time triple there by Walker.
Ties the game at 41.
He silenced the Cincinnati crowd. Got Cincinnati on their heels here. We're approaching that 6-minute mark. See if Cincinnati can get one here.
Madsen, the leaner, rolls off the rim. Smith the rebound. USF with the momentum. They push it forward again. Murphy long two. Yes. He's an accomplished coach. It hasn't really showed up at USF, but he can bring some guys in. Had a great run at Dayton and Georgia Tech. Former assistant under Tom Izzo at Michigan State. He knows how to bring guys in, and he hopes that Caleb Murphy is part of that next great USF team.
Yeah, if you got Caleb Murphy at the point guard, about 6'5", very athletic, the kind of guy you want to build that team around.
Adams Woods gives Cincinnati the lead right back with a three.
There you go, Cincinnati found the bottom of the net there. Adam Woods starting to find his rhythm. Another one of those guys that can also contribute to winning for this Bearcats unit.
Chiwa back out. Something they're working with him on is not getting complacent down low. The reverse high arcing doesn't go. Out of bounds, stays with USF. That was a tough drive there from Walker.
The thing about Chiwa, that's a big time dagger there by Mike Adam Woods. He tries to get this crowd and his team some energy to continue to fight and get this win here at Fifth Third.
Into Chiwa again. Off 1 foot. That's not his shot there.
I don't think that's his shot there. And like you said, Coach, let's continue to try to work with him on making the correct decisions out the post. That's a unit. That's a time there where you can find a guy open on the perimeter.
Cincinnati goes down low to its own big man. Back to him. Adu. Koval tips in the miss.
Great follow-up out of senior Koval there. Big time tip in. Got the Twin Towers in. Being active around that rim. It's looking very effective.
Murphy. He won't go away.
It's what you call drill work. Drill work.
Saunders fouled on his push.
Saunders, another one of those guys. You think Cincinnati, you think depth. They play almost 10, 11 guys constantly. So these guys are used to playing higher minutes and being in tight situations. Saunders, the first game, had 10 points. He's a huge X factor here. Let's see if he can come down and be that same X factor here late in the second half.
10 points against the Bulls, as Kevin mentioned, on February 9th. None tonight. His career high came against Illinois. He scored 20 points against the Illini, that upset win back in the Kansas City Classic. And a couple of ups and downs this season for Saunders. Finally puts his name in the scoring sheet. Bearcats by 2. Murphy trying to stay hot. Gets his man in the air. Smith for 3.
Decent offense there by USF, though, being able to find an open shooter. I like the penetration by Murphy.
Aguama, he's off the mark.
Not sure if that's the best decision there for Cincinnati. I think they're capable of getting a way better shot than that. I mean, looking at the stat book, I don't think Odi Aguama has made any three-point shots this year.
Murphy misses. So they trade a couple misses here. Bearcats still lead by 2, under 6 to go. Julius fakes the pass, rises in the lane. Gets his miss back. Tries again. Still can't finish. Koval's tip is off, but a foul under the basket.
Great activity around the rim by Koval there. Not going away on his senior night. Continue to stand with it. Second chance points, being physical on the inside. It's exactly what Cincinnati needs right now.
Helps when you're 7'1" with long arms, too.
It does. That it does.
Something that neither of us have been blessed with. Although you more so than me. I can barely touch the bottom of the net. Never mind get up that high.
Not his size. That's a tree there. I don't know if I can get up over that one.
Hayden Koval, the graduate student from Prosper, Texas. The active leader in blocks in the NCAA.
That's a proud stat to be part of, because there's some pretty good defenders out here in all these conferences. And for you to be the most active leading blocker, it's a test to your dedication and hard work there.
Cincinnati has the 2 best blockers in the NCAA. Koval is first, and Abdul Adu, who just came back in, is number 2 on the active blocks list. One of 2 at the line for Koval. Chaplin the rebound. Chaplin's a guy you've been looking for all night, Kevin. He has just 2 points for USF, averaging nearly 10 a game.
One of those guys, been out here, has to find his rhythm.
Murphy has started to cool off a little bit, an air ball there. Newman has his pass deflected. Chiwa takes it away. Chaplin to the corner. Green puts it on the floor, drives inside, banks it in.
Tough. That's a big time shot there, Green. Nice body control, way to stay with it and knock it in.
Big time bucket for a big time player. Ryan Gregory said that he has some great feel. He is a high level guard.
He is very quick step, very long arms. We all know those left-handed players are very unorthodox. Tough finish here in crunch time.
DeJulius throws it away into the hands of Corey Walker.
Turnovers are always very vital in this time here. USF had their fair share in the second half, but tend to be doing a little better.
Murphy, razzle-dazzle, gives him the lead again.
He might be putting it on display here, Anthony. Nice razzle-dazzle, get the big man off of me, stop and go. Nice pull-up. It's tough there, Murphy.
Well, it's been a sluggish game. It's been a little bit rugged at times, but it's turned into a great game in Fifth Third Arena. DeJulius nearly stripped again.
USF is not going away. They have sensed that they can win this game, and that's a scary position you want to be in.
Another good contest at the rim, and back to USF.
The biggest thing I see about this USF team is the length with guards and then the bigs. They have a lot of length. Every guard is sitting almost about 6'4", 6'5", or taller here, and you got 2 forwards. Nice size and height in there. That's a good combination.
Chiwa sets the screen. Murphy rises. That's a tough shot. But the Bulls have the rebound. Fresh 20 thanks to Walker.
The Bulls are doing what teams that struggle to shoot do. Be physical, continue to rebound, get second chance points, more opportunities. As we all know, you get more shots in one possession, your percentages go up. Give it to our big guy.
But a lot of students, and of course appreciating all the hard work of the seniors back in the control room. And we thank you all very, very much. And some of the seniors here are making an impact tonight for both of these teams. Ryan Gregory watches on. His team up by 2. Russell Chiwa at the line. And for a guy that only shoots 56%, he's made 4 of 7 tonight. Make it 5 of 8. 3-point Bulls lead. Cincinnati scoreless over the last 2:30 plus.
See if Cincinnati can execute here. Davenport really might need to hit one. DeJulius get the D&D brothers going here. We all know DeJulius is a big closer for this team. Let's see if he can come up big today.
Bearcats have missed their last 4 field goals as part of that drought. Newman tries inside and a tough finish.
That's tough. That's super tough. Newman stepping up here for this Cincinnati team in crunch time.
He has 11 points, just the second time in 11 games. Chaplin wide open, yes!
Say, if I didn't make one today, I'll make this the one that counts.
Better late than never.
Chaplin, like we said earlier, another guy that usually
Starts for both teams on March 10th. Cincinnati a bit closer to those top 5 byes. The top 5 teams in the American earn a bye. Inside, Aguama rises and lays it in.
That's great execution, and it's been there all night. USF has been doing a better job with their hand activity off the pick and roll, but great find by DeJulius. If he's not scoring, he's making the play, and that's exactly what he has to do coming down the stretch here.
Good out of timeout play by Wes Miller. Bearcats back within 2. Under 2 to play in Fifth Third Arena. Aguama with good hands knocks it out of bounds.
Cincinnati starting to rise that intensity on defense there. It was a great poke out by Aguama.
Some matrix there. Look at that. Dodge, duck, dip, dive, and dodge over there.
which is a great movie there, man. It just brought back some good memories of a great movie with Will Ferrell.
Murphy. Cincinnati a chance to tie or take the lead.
Big time possession here. Let's see if they'll go back to that pick and roll with DeJulius. We all know he's the closer.
He has it now. Do the screen. Right back to DeJulius. Skips it, Davenport.
The D and D connection has
so one of just 2 players for the Bulls in double figures.
I feel that USF is either going to try to get Murphy to his sweet spot or get some flow offense and get too wide in the post here.
It's Murphy. Back to Walker. Tipped out of bounds. Cincinnati basketball. Walker can't believe it. They're going to have a look at it. Under 2 minutes, automatically goes to the review. Now the call on the floor is Cincinnati basketball, and that is big for the Bearcats. You'll need indisputable evidence to overturn it. .7 to go, even at 54. USF is over the limit. Every foul now is 1-on-1 for Cincinnati. The Bearcats not even close to the penalty.
Good old nail biter here for the last game in Fifth Third. It doesn't get any better than this. It's been a dogfight all game. But as we all know, to have a tough nail biter is always better than a blowout.
This arena seats 12,012 exactly, and they are certainly sounding like it tonight. The call is confirmed. It stays Cincinnati basketball, and you couldn't have asked for much more to finish out the month of February. Fantastic atmosphere in this building deserves a fantastic finish. Bearcats ball. It's with Adams Woods. Now into the hands of David DeJulius. He's doubled, he finds Adams Woods again. 13 to shoot for the Bearcats, and Wes Miller, sensing no urgency on offense, calls his last timeout.
Great timeout here by Coach Miller. Be able to settle his team. They went to their first option, it wasn't there, no reason to force. I do believe they try to get something going downhill. Don't settle for a 3. USF is here in the bonus. They got 8 fouls. I think anything at the rim, you give yourself a chance. Put this thing on the refs and see if they can give you a tough call here.
Well, here's how we got here. Davenport with the long 2, that tied the game at 54, nearly gave him the lead, but his foot was on the line. But it has been a fun last few minutes for Cincinnati to claw its way back in.
Yeah, it's been a test to them on defense. They continue to stick with it. USF has hit some really tough shots down the stretch here, but Cincinnati has been able to answer.
21 combined between Newman III and Adams Woods tonight. Newman just continues to do a little bit of everything. 8 rebounds as well for the senior from Greensboro, North Carolina.
It's always good when you got 2 other guys that's able to step up. And Cincinnati all year, depth has been a big part of their success. Normally we talk about DeJulius and Davenport, but today it's Newman and Adam Woods showing up big on the offensive end.
Are you going to one of them, or are you going to someone else for this possession?
I continue to put the ball in my closer's hand, which is DeJulius, get into some pick and roll. You know, drive, kick, feed the big. If you do kick it out to a guard and it's time, try to get yourself to the rim. I'm only settling for a wide open 3. In rhythm. If not, I'm trying to get something at the rim. If anything, give or take here, be about 4 seconds left. So you do miss it, you got a chance to go in overtime.
USF does have a timeout in their pocket as well. Cincinnati out of them. 13 on the shot clock coming out of the Wes Miller timeout. It's with DeJulius. Davenport sets the screen. The Bulls switch. Hines is guarding DeJulius. Step back 3. Short. Roll doesn't go. Off the rim. Chaplin the inbounder. Walker gets it. 4 seconds left. Newman nearly forces the turnover. And if nothing else here for UCF, a bit of a better inbounds position.
That's what Newman does. He has a nose for getting steals. That was almost a close one. It was a close call there. They could have got him for across the body there for a foul. That was a scary one.
Chaplin the inbounder again. Walker left open. Finds Chua for the win. Yes!
Whoa!